It's probably not an exaggeration to say that the whole world is buzzing tonight after the heated exchange today between President Trump, Vice President Vance, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House. New tonight, Zelensky is now saying Ukraine will not enter peace talks with Russia until it has security guarantees against another offensive. Before we get into our discussion, let's show you a clip of what happened.
Tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
All right, here to give us some perspective is Daniel Rothenberg, a global security expert and co-director of ASU's Center on the Future of War. Mr. Rothenberg, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you.
Is it safe to say that although heated discussions between world leaders happen all the time, they've never played out on TV? How big a deal is today's blowup?
It is a big deal. This was really a fiasco, and this is just a terrible press conference, and the implications are reverberating around the world.
One of the things that I heard over and over again today from both Mr. Trump and Mr. Vance was the word gratitude, that Zelensky wasn't showing enough gratitude to America for the aid that we've given his country. Is that something that's expected between allies?
Well, it's clear that Zelensky could have taken a step back, taken a deep breath, and said thank you right then and there. But he has many times spoken before Congress and spoken to presidents and thanked the American people. It's not that he hasn't said thank you before, but that was a very tense moment. And I urge, all viewers just to watch it if you want to see just a bit of a train wreck. Although let's just hope it doesn't, that the future is a little brighter than what we saw today.
Now, this animosity between Zelensky and Trump is nothing new. It's been bubbling, if not for weeks, for years. Trump and other members of his administration have refused to acknowledge that Putin invaded Ukraine. Trump called Zelensky a dictator. Zelensky fired back and said Trump was in a misinformation bubble from Russia. Why is there such animosity between these two?
There probably isn't a single story. We should remember that, the first Trump impeachment came out of a whole series of events in Ukraine. Didn't directly involve Zelensky in some ways, but in other ways it did. There is some personal animosity, and that was evident today. And that's unfortunate because what we're talking about here is the possibility of a ceasefire and a peace deal to end this devastating conflict that some have found to have led to the deaths and casualties of over 1 million people. So this is just a horrible conflict, and it would be great to see it come to an end.
Is part of this turning away from Zelensky Trump actually giving the old wink, wink, nod, nod to Putin?
So nobody really knows what's happening here. What we are seeing is a very dangerous moment. The U.S. is pulling away from core commitments to Europe and core commitments to democracies. Russia engaged in a war of aggression, one of the worst possible crimes, and it's had devastating consequences. And there's a chance now maybe for some peace. It's certainly something that Trump is committed to. He said that he wants to see an end to the killing. And this bodes well for the possibility of a ceasefire, but clearly any serious ceasefire requires some security guarantees. And that doesn't appear to be on the table on the U.S. side right now, although Europeans are talking about that pretty substantively. And there's efforts now to have some new negotiations in Europe. And hopefully that will calm things and allow peace to advance.
I read a quote before I came on the air tonight from one U.S. official who said it's irreparably damaged, the relationship between Zelensky and Trump. Do you believe that?
Well, it's possible. Trump is somebody who takes things very personally. At the same time, he's transactional, and there's a lot of reasons to advance. If he wants to advance on the promise of peace to ending the Russian-Ukraine conflict, this devastating war, it's going to require buy-in by Ukrainians. And where the Ukrainians stand on this, they obviously need certain guarantees to move forward. They've suffered terribly. They are clearly the victims in this conflict. And so hopefully we'll see some advances here, but this is really a bad day for not just for global security, because this is the sort of event that entices our adversaries and makes the U.S. look potentially quite weak.
And when you take the global view of this, isn't the bigger picture here Russia? Whether Trump and Zelensky get along or not, if America turns its back on an ally that's locked in a bloody war with one of America's greatest threats, what message does that send to the rest of the world?
It's a great point. I think it's a little early to know, though, because one thing that Trump likes to do is to win and to bring things around and to shift the debate. So maybe this really terrible event today will lead to some kind of adjustment, and maybe that adjustment can produce some sort of recommitment to European security, to NATO, one of the most successful alliances, and to defending democracies against, the aggressions of autocratic governments.
Yeah, well, like it or not, we saw history unfolding today on live TV. Professor Rothenberg, thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
Good to see you. Ukraine is one of many topics that the president is expected to touch on when he addresses Congress next week. On Tuesday, join NBC News for special coverage of the president's address. Coverage begins at 7 o'clock right here on 12 News.